Everybody, this is Brian Mazik, aka Unique Mazik, the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and we got another NBA 2K Ultimate Legends roster video, and this time it's the Milwaukee Bucks. You can see Ray Allen. We got young Ray Allen here, done by Razor. Always, like I said, make sure you check out his channel. It's in the description of this video. He handled all of the mods here. So if there's a player who needed to be updated or a player who I needed to have added to the roster, he is the one who did that. We're going to go through the top 15 players in Milwaukee Bucks history according to my formula, which is the FPVR, it's the franchise player value rating. So, without further ado, we already know Ray Allen's a part of it. Let's look at the other guys that Razor had to either have added or the ones that he needed to update. So, we got Terry Cummings here. Yeah, the Terry Cummings from 2K. You know, sometimes if you want to be a carpenter and you work with your father and he tell you, don't operate this particular tool without me around, and you do it anyway and you get hit in the head with a hammer or something, this is how you end up looking. Like the 2K Terry Cummings. Like somebody hit him square in the front of his head with some sort of hammer. Thor's hammer, perhaps. I don't know. His eyes are doing a whole new thing. His eyebrows are not aligned. It's like he got two different people's faces all mixed up together, and it ain't good. Razor did it a much better job of Terry Cummings. I don't have any idea who this is. I don't know. It looked like Joe Button and George Foreman had a baby. George Button. I don't know, but it's bad. We got to get it out of here. We don't want to look at it no more because we're gonna get it out. The next one is the Ray Allen. We saw that. That one's exceptional. The Ray Allen for 2K was good too, though, but they just didn't have the young version. So that is really good, and I can't wait to show y'all the Ray Allen rating. He's really good. He's really good. Really, really, really good player on here in the rating. So next we got Paul Pressey. Paul Pressey. I don't know who. It's a YouTuber that the 2K's version look like that YouTuber. It don't look nothing like Paul Pressey. I have no idea what they did, but yes, Razor's Paul Pressey looks much better. A lot of people don't know this about Paul Pressey. Paul Pressey was the first ever real point forward, right? So that's kind of like a term or whatever that Don Nelson, all-time great Boston Celtic. He's a head coach. He was a head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, which is where this happened. Then with the Dallas Mavericks, Golden State Warriors, and he was real innovative from an offensive standpoint. So he was one of the first guys to put a forward and a point guard ball control type of a role. Paul Pressey was that. He was a point forward. Had a very well balanced game, really good defender, super long arms. He's like an assistant coach now. His son played in the league. Son's much shorter, but Paul Pressey was like 6'6", 6'7", and he played the point forward position. So we got him here. This is a really good render here by Razor. Let's who we got next. We got the big O, Oscar Robertson. Now this is older Oscar Robertson, right? So one thing we could have done here is I could have had Razor do a hairstyle like the one they had on 2K. But this to me is the most shameful legend render just about that they have. And it's not because the render is done bad. It's just because they got a random dude who looked like Bookman on Good Times and said he's going to be Oscar Robertson. It's either that or Uncle Ben, the Rice Man, somebody, but don't look nothing like I'm talking about. This don't look nothing like Oscar Robertson. This is a fat faced man, a fat somebody, somebody fat faced uncle from the 70s or something. This dude's name is Fred or something or something. It ain't this. This is not good. This is really. I mean, did y'all just think that I I don't understand. I don't understand how I don't get it. I don't understand how 2K put this dude on here and said this is going to be our Oscar Robinson. Ta-da. And then put him in Ultimate Team looking like this here. This is no, man. I don't dig it. Razor did a much better job. He does have the younger Oscar Robertson when he was with the Cincinnati Royals, which is Sacramento Kings. And he averaged a triple double and blah, 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 blah. So he did a good job there. But this little fella here on the left, this is shameful. I have no idea who this is, but he is wrong. He's wrong for everything. Whoever this guy is, I don't know what his real name is because this is clearly a person. But who said, "Hey, bro, you look kind of like Oscar Robertson. You want to be an Oscar?" Who said that? I don't understand. I don't get it. I gotta go. This is John McLaughlin. Now, the John McLaughlin on 2K wasn't that bad, but we did think we could get it a little bit better, and I think that Razor did do that. It's kind of bad though. His face is frail. He looks scared. Just he looks yeah. He look like he got attacked on the beach. He was walking on the beach, and somebody just pushed him in the shallow water and just rubbed his face in the damp sand, and he just got his face cleaned up, and he's a little shocked at the ordeal. That's I don't yeah no I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good. On second thought, I think he does look a little, but Razor is good for representing chest hair. If you got some chest hair, it's gonna be on there. Cause John McLaughlin in real life and in Razor's render look like he is Chewbacca's biological brother on his chest. Man, he had a little Persian rugs or something under his jersey. But it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes you got to be that way. You ever had to go to the barber shop for your chest? Like, you go in there, how you want it? I want a bald fade on my chest. He gonna get a bald fade on his chest. I ain't can't say that. He got more hair on his chest than I done had on my head in the last 25 years. So I can't even. It's okay. No problem. You doing good. Next up, Brian Winters. This is good. This is really good. Brian Winters scares me though, because Brian Winters looked like he should have been on How to Create a Serial Killer or whatever the name of that show was. Because he just got one of them smiles that look like Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Call it, call it, call it. Like I mean, like look at him. He got these piercing eyes and this real smile that looks like I would prefer to just cut their fingertips off. He look like an unsub for real, man. What is going on? I don't know, but Razor did a good job because he's got a sophisticated mountain man serial killer look to him. But it's okay. I'm sure that's not who he is. He's a very nice man in real life, I'm sure. But here, he's a little scary. But it's okay. Sometimes I'm scary. All right, let's look at the top 15 players. This is my Milwaukee Bucks FPVR squad. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar should be no shock that he is the number one guy. Now, I started to keep his name Luau Cinder with the Bucks, right? Because he did change his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar while he was with the Bucks. But the reason I didn't do that is because they won the championship in the 70-71 season. And right after that, I think it was the day after, it was something like that, a day or after or a week after or so, is when he officially changed his name from Lou Alcindor to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But the season that I used, which was his best statistical season with the Bucks, was the 71-72 season, and his name was officially Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So that's why I got him in there as Kareem. All right, so number 2, this might shock some people, is Sidney Moncrief. Just got put into the Hall of Fame. Should have been there before. Lockdown defender. I mean, 5-time All-Star, all defensive first team like 4 times. Defensive Player of the Year multiple times. All NBA first team once. To me, if you put together that type of a career with all of those different individual accolades, you probably should be a Hall of Famer. Then you also got Marcus Johnson. He doesn't get a lot of credit. A lot of people know him more for being UCLA's announcer, but he was a really, really good player, especially his rookie year. But that was actually when he was with the Clippers. But he had a really, really strong rookie year. Might have been the best year of his career statistically, but he had a really good year as a scorer with the Bucks too. Bobby Dandridge, 75-76. Dandridge actually, I believe, and I might be wrong about this, I believe he came over to the Bucks in the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade from the Lakers. I might be wrong with that. I think it went something like that. I have to check again. But Bobby Dandridge was a very, very good player for the Washington Wizards, Bullets at the time, I believe it was. Next, we got Bobby Dandridge was an all-time player for the Bucks and the Washington Wizards, Washington Bullets franchise. He's actually from the D.C., Maryland area, I believe. But this particular, obviously, we're talking about the Bucks. He's the fourth best or the fourth most valuable player in Bucks history, according to the FPVR. Number 5, and this could change a little bit. He could actually, depending on how far the Bucks go in the current postseason, and depending on whether or not he was to win, say, Finals MVP or something like that, if the Bucks were to win a championship, he wins Finals MVP, then he will actually probably go ahead. I got to do the math exactly, but Giannis could end up number 3 all time for the Bucks already. Now, if you think about that, you might be like, "Wow, already?" But if you have to think about it, the Bucks. Oh, and if he wins MVP of the season, even if he just wins MVP and they make it to the finals and don't even win, he could he would be really close because just when MVP is going to go to 99.4 points. And now you know what? If he wins MVP, he's going to get there because he's also going to be all NBA first team, which is going to be 8 more points. So he almost is going, and it's probably going to be an all defensive team. If they make it to the conference finals, Giannis Antetokounmpo is almost 100% going to move into number 3 all time for the Bucks. They don't even necessarily have to win a championship, as I'm doing all of the math here. So that just shows you the type of impact that he's had already. He is right now number 5, but by the end of the postseason and by the time all of the awards are given out, he might be number 3. Glenn Big Dog Robinson is number 6. Might not realize it, but yeah, he had a really good career with the Bucks. Next is Michael Redd. His career was cut short by injury, but he was a fantastic scorer. Then we have Terry Cummings next. Tied with him is Ray Allen. Now you might have thought Ray Allen maybe should be higher, but it's not about how good he was. It's about necessarily not just about how good he was. It's about the statistics, the team accolades, that sort of thing. They did go to the Eastern Conference Finals one year with that team, but Ray Allen didn't spend that many years there to get, and he didn't have that much team success to get to that point. And if you look at it for his career with the Bucks, he didn't average over 20 a game. So while they went to the playoffs 4 times, conference finals once, he was a 3-time All-Star with the team, and he was All NBA third team once. He had a good career there, but just not quite enough to go over that high. Now, Oscar Robertson is next. Now, Oscar Robertson was obviously a fantastic player, one of the greatest players of all time, but he came to the Bucks towards the end of his career. So that's important to realize. He didn't play that long with the Bucks, but he did win a championship there. So that's important. John McLaughlin is there as well. Then we got Brian Winters, Spooky Brian. Then we got Ricky Pierce, one of the first really great, truly great 6-man, especially in the era of giving out the 6-man award. I want to say, what did he win it? 3 times? So he won it multiple times. So fantastic guy off the bench, could just flat out score. Then we got Paul Pressey. And then 15th, we got Vin Baker. Would have more than likely been much higher than this. He was a 3-time All-Star, All-NBA third team selection. But he didn't play that long there because he got traded to Seattle and he had some personal issues. But thankfully, he has overcome those and he's doing pretty well now. Yeah, Vin Baker, number 15. All right, now it is time to see the ratings for these gentlemen. Let's see what we got here. All right, number 1, of course, we got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with a 97 overall. I don't think we can even debate this. Kareem is one of the top 4 or 5 greatest players that ever played the game. Some people will have him as high as number 2. I tend to be in that number where I would put him as high as number 2. So I mean, yeah, this is pretty much easy to me. Next is Giannis. I got Giannis with a 94 overall. I based everything off of this season. And according to this season, I think according to the way of my formula for rating players, he's a 94 overall with 35 badges. I mean, that's more badges than Kareem. Really, it's not as high as a rating, but it's more badges than Kareem. He's he's just on another level. Now, even though this is older Oscar Robertson, I still gave him the 92 because some of the physical attributes that he had, even at 32, and then the statistics that he put up that year, still warranted a really high rating. Next up, we got Sidney Moncrief. I told you, I'm telling you, if you need to look up, just YouTube search Sidney Moncrief. Watch the defense, watch the ability to score. He was a really good player. Should have been in the Hall of Fame before recently. Ray Allen is next with the 88 overall, two-way superstar, one of the five highest rated players on the Bucks. As a matter of fact, that right there is probably a really good starting five. You put, yeah, I don't know. I guess you can put Moncrief or Robinson at the point guard, and either of them can play the shooting guard. Not great 3-point shooters, but decent enough. And then at the small forward, you can play Ray Allen, and he is a fantastic 3-point shooter, of course. And then at the forward, you can play Antetokounmpo, and then you got Kareem. You don't have a ton of shooting with that team, but I think it is still pretty formidable. Then you got Terry Cummings coming off the bench. He's got an 88 overall, backing up Giannis. And then you got Marcus Johnson. He could back up Ray Allen. You could make the case you could start him over Ray Allen. He's only 2 inches taller. I think you would need Ray Allen shooting in the starting lineup, so you might not want to do that. Marcus Johnson's a good 3-point shooter, decently. I made him, gave him a little bit of a benefit for what I thought he might be if he played more in the 3-point era. But he got an 87. Then we got Paul Pressey with the 85. Like I said, he's a point forward, so you could have put him at. He's only 6'5". I thought he was a little bit taller than that. But 85, you can play 1, 2, or 3, easy. Not a great shooter, but decent enough. Then we got Bobby Dandridge, a little bit better shooter. He got a lot of small forwards, so you got to move some stuff around. With the 83, next we got Vin Baker, also with the 83. He backs up. He really has to back up Kareem because they really don't have another center really on this team. You could play Terry Cummings at center, but it's a little bit smallish. Vin Baker might be considered a little smaller to 6'10", but Baker had a post game, bro. I'm trying to tell you, he had a post game. Then we got John McLaughlin with the 83. He's a good 3-point shooter. They don't have a ton of shooting. They don't have a ton of spectacular 3-point shooters, I should say. But John McLaughlin is one of their better ones. Then we got Big Dog. He's an even better 3-point shooter, especially this particular year that I took of him, which is just age 26 season. But he only comes in as an 82. Glenn Robinson was never known for much defense. Also, wasn't a spectacular rebounder. But like I said, they got a lot of small forwards. So we're going to have a lot of some of the small forwards are going to probably have to play power forward. Then we got Brian Winters. He was a very good 3-point shooter. But he was a good all-around player. Actually, he was. Brian Winters is one of the earliest players I remember watching as a little kid. He was a little older then, but I remember watching him play. But he comes in with that 88 on the 3-pointer. And then, of course, Michael Redd can shoot. Michael Redd can shoot the peel. But overall, Michael Redd was never a fantastic athlete. Just an average defender, if that. So he gets the 81 and sharpshooter. But if you look at the 3-point shooting, you can easily see how he is a huge impact on the floor. I've played with him. His shot motion is slick. So it is, he plays above the 81 in my opinion. And then we got Ricky Pierce coming in at the bottom there with the 80 overall. Supposed to be a guy coming off the bench. You have to work it how you have to work it. But you got to make a decision of how you want to do this, because if they start Robinson and Moncrief, then they don't really have a point guard to come off the bench. So you could start one and not the other. And then you can easily start like Michael Redd at the 2, or, and if you want to put Ray Allen out there, so you can have 2 deadly shooters on both sides of the floor, which might be really good if you start Oscar Robertson. So that might actually be the best one. And I'm not even sure if that's the lineup I went with. Let's see which lineup did I go with. No, I went with Marcus Johnson starting. Now that I think about it, what I just said might actually be better. But Marcus Johnson's a much better athlete. A little longer than Michael Redd. So this is, I don't know. I guess this might be the right way to go. And the 2 inactives are Ricky Pierce and Brian Winters. So probably should have had Big Dog inactive, but he can play a little bit of the 4. So that's why we didn't let him go. But there you go. That is the Milwaukee Bucks. And we're moving through this. I'm almost done. We definitely will be done by the end of this week. So I'm looking forward to sharing the roster with you guys once it's done. I'm still going to roll out the videos for each team, even though I'll be done with the roster before I'm done rolling out the videos. But as usual, I appreciate you guys watching. As always, God bless and peace. You're looking at Tommy Heinsohn, famed Boston Celtic announcer and former Celtics great, Hall of Famer.
Pocket, I'll be weak. I'm rather unique.